A win's a win. Wasn't the prettiest win, but I'll take a win. 19-17, Denver over Green Bay. We're not apologizing. We're going to take the win, and we're going to enjoy it because this fan base has not had a lot of wins to celebrate. So it's good to give the fan base a home win to root on and cheer for. But let's kind of break down this game. Let's go through the stats and the highlights and all that good stuff because Denver comes out of this thing on top, 19-17, in large part due to Will Lutz. 3 field goals in the first half, a clutch field goal in the fourth quarter to retake the lead for the Broncos, and Denver improves to 2-5, while the Packers fall to 2-4. Russell Wilson was 20 for 29, 194 yards, 1 touchdown, miles ahead of where he was the last 2 games against the Jets and the Packers. So Denver ends their losing skid, and Russell Wilson plays a much better game than what we saw the last 2 weeks. But the story of the game has to be Vance Joseph and this defense, right? Improvements have clearly been made by Vance Joseph and this defense. You look at the Packers offense against Denver, 331 total yards, 194 passing yards. I was never threatened by Jordan Love. I would let Jordan Love take my daughter home every single night of the week knowing nothing's going to happen here. Jordan Love never intimidated me whatsoever in this game. Now, the ground game definitely has been a problem, and everyone wants to point the finger through the first 6 weeks at Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, and they have been bad. But the defensive line, they get bullied. They get pushed around, and that is a big area for improvement next year. But for now, we'll enjoy the win. 1 big turnover, shout out to P.J. Locke. First career interception. He fills in for Kareem Jackson after he was ejected. And prediction, I think Kareem Jackson will be suspended next week against Kansas City, which, listen, you're playing the Chiefs. You need all hands on deck right there. But Denver's offense against the Packers. Let's look at the other side of the tape now. 339 yards, really strong first half. Kind of disappeared in the third quarter and up until the end of the fourth quarter, right? They kept showing the stats on screen of total yards in first half compared to second half. But the Broncos offense ultimately rallies in the second half or in the fourth quarter when they needed to get down the field. Jerry Jeudy made some big plays for this team in the receiving department. Other players stepped up big. But all in all, head-to-head, Denver outplayed Green Bay, right? I think we can all agree that the Broncos were the better football team today. The score reflects that. They played better, they coached better, they executed better, and all in all, Denver comes out on top because they deserve to win this game with the way they played for 60 minutes. Now, today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. We're going to talk about the rest of the highlights and things like that in just a second. But Prize Picks is a daily fantasy sports app where all you have to do is pick more or less for 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Prize Picks is super simple and user-friendly. I spend 1 to 2 minutes on the app every Sunday morning making my selections. Now, for Sunday Night Football, Tyreek Hill, 99.5 yards, more or less. If you think he's going to get more, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. The link for that is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Let's go in depth on Russ for a moment because Russell Wilson was a good quarterback today. He didn't make any big flashy plays, but the tempo of the game didn't really call for that. He also didn't make any hideous mistakes or any horrible decisions or anything like that. Russ was good. Russ helped you win this game. Russ was a part of this win today. Good performance all in all from number 3. Javonte Williams is a bat out of hell at times. 15 carries for 82 yards. I love the dynamic duo of highlight reel Jaleel and Javonte Williams, the bowling ball. Like, you have thunder and lightning right there. This is a backfield that I think hopefully could stay together for years to come and put together some great performances on the ground. Pookie was great today. He kind of got off to a slow start on the year, and hey, he came off a multiple torn knee ligament injury. He's starting to really cook right now. He is hard to take down the first time. I love what I've seen of Javonte Williams lately. Courtland Sutton made an incredible, I wouldn't say touchdown grab, but a great route, right? He made a lot of good plays, especially in the first half on that one big gain, but he set up got a huge touchdown in the second half for Denver to extend their lead at the time. But Courtland Sutton, when it comes to trading, different T word. When it comes to trading and blowing it up, reports came out before the game. Denver does not want to really blow it up, like trade everyone. But at 2-5, let's all face facts here. They're still a 2-5 team. Enjoy the win. Be happy about the win. But if Courtland Sutton continues to play well, and he's got 5 touchdowns on the year, and that means you could get a second-round pick in return, I'm still making that trade. I know it sucks because you're 2-5. Well, you just won, and now you're just 2-5. Like, this team is not where they want to be, and they've got Kansas City coming up before the deadline. A loss against the Chiefs, 2-6. You should be looking to trade and get a lot for Courtland Sutton and maybe some other guys. But grade Denver's win. A, B, C, D, or F. It was not an A. It was not a perfect performance. It's hard to be perfect in the NFL. But I'm going to give it a B, right? The defense made plays. The defense made stops. The defense got a stop with an interception at the end of the game. The offense put up 19 points. It's not a bad number, right? It's not where you probably want it to be every single Sunday, but you got to finish off some drives. You got to turn 4 of those field goals into at least one more touchdown. We're talking about an additional 4 points and a much more secure win. But a win's a win. This fan base needed to see a win, and they got one. Jordan Love, for any Packers fans watching, he sucks. Like, 21 for 31, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He might not suck, but I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he is someone you want to give a long-term contract to. So, credit to Denver's defense. Vance Joseph survives another week from the fire Vance Joseph talk. And that's big for him. He is living week to week right now. He needs every single week to go his way if he wants to be here for much longer. I don't think he should be the guy for, the next year or so, but for now, 2 good performances against Kansas City and now against Green Bay. We can all relax the fire Vance Joseph talk, at least for a week. That's just a bad message to send to your locker room. Even if you think Vance Joseph is not a good DC, and if you're going to end up firing at the end of the year, why not do it now? My counter to that would be, you don't go into a locker room that's blasting music right now, that's celebrating a hard-earned win when no one really gave him a shot, and you fire their DC. Like, that's going to kill morale. When they play well, you don't fire people. A.J. Dillon was tough. He had 2 grabs for 34 yards. He had 15 carries for 61 yards. Again, I go back to Denver's defensive line, outside of Zach Allen, who's been good, not great, I would say, so far, needs some serious improvements. Like, that is definitely a spot to work on in the offseason, and it kind of shows every single Sunday. Receiving-wise, A.J. Dillon was the leading receiver. Romeo Doubs, Luke Musgrave, who took the hard hit from Kareem Jackson. Just not a lot of playmakers in the receiving department. Like, they had some nice third down conversions. I'll give them credit for that. But ultimately, Denver's defense made a lot of big plays. And while I'm on the subject, Pat Surtain probably should have got an interception. Kind of got robbed, but whatever. Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, your number 1 and number 2 wide receivers, combining for over 100 yards and 1 touchdown and 11 grabs. Like, that's the type of production that should be the floor, right? I mean, maybe not every single Sunday, but we need more of these games. And if they get another one of these games against Kansas City next week, maybe Denver thinks, let's pause on blowing this up. Maybe we've got something in these 2 wide receivers, and we don't want to trade them away for lottery tickets that might not even be good players for us. Where we know Courtland Sutton is having arguably the best year of his NFL career. Like, after 2019, when he went for 1,000 yards, he's up to 5 touchdowns already, guys. He's on pace for 10 touchdowns this year. He's never gotten close to 10 touchdowns in his NFL career. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning into our post-game show. Enjoy the win. Enjoy Victory Monday. Broncos country has not gotten to enjoy Victory Monday a whole lot lately. So every chance you get, bathe in it. Consume all the Broncos content you can get. Read every article, listen to every show, because these Victory Mondays have come few and far between the last few years for the Broncos fans.